Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and this week in Dragonflight we got even more class changes. Though unlike the last few weeks of regular updates featuring buffs to many of the underrepresented classes, this week's blue post is sadly full of nerfs instead, primarily targeting some of the strongest PvP playstyles which found themselves favored above other classes, and attempts to reduce the overall impact in arenas and battlegrounds. While we're on the topic of class nerfs, this week we got even more updates regarding the tuning coming to Beast Mastery Hunters in the patch 10.07, and it seems some of the previously announced buffs are now being reverted in this next upcoming PTR build. So in today's video, I wanted to cover some of the more unfortunate news coming to our favorite classes in this week's Dragonflight update. But right before that, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you're looking to get regular class and content updates for all the future Dragonflight builds. First, let's go over the Hunter nerfs announced early this week for the patch 10.07 PTR. One of the main goals of this upcoming update is to reduce the value of the unique Hunter Bow, Nelthrak's Enemy of the Sky. Currently, Beastmaster Hunters require this bow in order to be even remotely competitive in PvE content, resulting in a major DPS discrepancy between hunters who have the rare item and hunters that don't. Patch 10.07 wants to return the power the bow brings back to the hunter, by lessening the weapon's effect but buffing the hunter spec to compensate. The initial set of hunter buffs announced looked like a massive increase, and in the special case of PvP would have resulted in hunters absolutely dominating in battlegrounds and arenas. But this week it seems that new nerfs have since been announced. The ability of Kill Command, initially set to gain 25% more damage, is now being reduced down to 10%, which reduces the ability's impact in single target as well as in AoE. Barb Shot Bleed is also being reduced, downgraded to only 12% damage increase instead of its initial 25%. But the AoE damage of Beastmaster Hunter is seeing improvements, with the Kill Cleave talent becoming a bit more impactful for AoE content like Mythic Plus dungeons. Based on the early numbers, which are still a work in progress, hunters who already have the bow will see a very slight damage increase, but those without the bow are being bolstered by almost 10% in single target. This number is even better in AoE content, increasing Beast Mastery Cleave capabilities by almost 14%. The Brewmaster Monk is the most recent wildcard to season play in competitive PvP content, and sees what looks like a slight buff, increasing the damage of Breath of Fire by 35%. Though initially, the damage of Breath of Fire saw a pretty big damage reduction, as the primary PvP talent of Incendiary Breath was heavily reduced. While this feels like a slight gain, it is still a overall downgrade from its initial Breath of Fire damage output. Next, we see Disc Priest Dominance challenge in this recent Dragonflight build. Earlier this week, we saw the talent of Expiation reduced. The talent will no longer gain bonus benefits from damage modifiers, it can no longer critically strike, and no longer ignores enemy defensive effects, decreasing its value heavily in PvP. Then, later that week, we saw even more Discipline nerfs, with the passive Sins of Many, which increases Discipline Priest damage in PvP content, reduced by 50%, decreasing their damage impact heavily for burst and sustained damage situations. Part of the Discipline Priest playstyle of healing relies on Atonement mechanic, where a portion of your damage can be used to heal a nearby ally. Because of the damage changes, which are quite heavy, this would reduce the value of Atonement, which is getting bolstered within PvP to hopefully make up the difference. Overall, this change should hopefully help reduce the dominant position that Discipline Priest has been able to establish over the last few weeks, with many commenting that the power this class brings into PvP rivals some of the DPS classes, which gives teams with the Discipline Priest quite a bit of a damage advantage. Next, we see the spec of Assassination rogues on the chopping block as well. First, the main burst cooldown of Assassination. is seeing some more reductions, as Deathmark's damage duplication effect has been further reduced, going from 70% of its original damage down to 50% in value, which is a sizable reduction, impacting the value of bleeds and poisons inside of Assassination's prime burst window. On top of it, we see even more damage reductions, with improved Garrod talent fixed to apply its initial intended nerf, where we see the bleed of Garrod reduced by 20%, which affects your burst damage as well as sustain and group-wide pressure. Finally, the numbing poison is also seeing further reductions. Numbing is one of the few non-lethal poisons used by most Assassination rogues. Numbing reduces your target's effectiveness, decreasing their melee attack speed as well as cast speed. While this poison was less noticed by melee players, many casters found it somewhat uncomfortable to play against this poison, as it would noticeably slow down their gameplay. The numbing poison value is being further reduced, decreasing its effectiveness from a 33% value reduction down to a 47%. Numbing poison also has a Shiv interaction. Using Shiv while having numbing poison applied to your weapon causes a more potent version of numbing to course through your target's veins, which helps further reduce your enemy's effectiveness. This improved numbing effect is also being reduced from a 40% value reduction down to a 52%. Overall, this results in less burst and less sustained damage from Assassination rogues, as well as less group-wide pressure, and the change to the poison will make it even less disruptive in the process. And for now, that's going to be all of the upcoming class nerfs happening either this week or over in the next build of the patch 10.07 PTR. I want to thank all of you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. What are your thoughts about all of these recently announced changes? Many in the PvP community have been asking for nerfs to two of the most dominant PvP specs, the Discipline Priest and the Assassination Rogue. Do you think that these nerfs will be enough to curb their domination, or do you think that these changes are simply not enough? And besides nerfs, what other classes do you hope receive some kind of a buff or tuning over the next few weeks in Dragonflight? As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single live stream and video, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video, or discuss with the other members of the community what you think about the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.